raging terror grabs hold of the universe. Monstroid. When Monstroid gets wound up, it grabs, it lurches, it spins, and thrashes, because just like Hordak, it's bad.
I love it. I'll stop it.
Monstroid.
Got it.
New from the Masters of the Universe. You put it together. Action figures sold separately from Mattel. It's a grabber.
From the depths of the sea, Monstroid has risen to be the focal point of our conversation of today's episode. Hello, welcome to Master Powercast. You might have to bear with Tyler a little bit. He's a little under the weather, so you might get some sniffles, maybe some cough. You might have to get up at some point and kind of.
I'm feeling much better today, though, compared to how I felt when I woke up this morning. I'm feeling much better.
'Tis the season, man.
Unfortunately,
it's that time of year. Temperatures are fluctuating, getting colder, getting warmer, getting colder again, and yeah, just
people aren't wiping and cleaning their fucking hands. So.
Yeah, people are gross, but Monstroid is the main focal point. And oddly enough, this is kind of the first time, because usually when we do these sort of things, when we're taking character, it's usually just character based, not so much like creatures and because when you think of Monstroid and watching the commercial that we had there in the intro. It's a creature, but not really. How do you classify Monstroid?
A mechanical beast.
Yeah,
I always kind of it's what just comes to mind is the killing machine in Red Sonja, that the dragon that's the machine in a fantasy world. Like I just think of something along those lines. It's mechanical. It looks like a monster, but it's. It is a mechanical beast, so to speak.
Yeah. So this is kind of a first for us because normally, as I said, we're talking more. You're thinking like Clamp Champ, Scareglow down the road. It'll be more character based. Like, oh, this is character spotlight on Triclops, but we're just changing it up. There's a reason for this though. So we're gonna just kind of go through the history of Monstroid. Focus on the toy, and then from there is kind of where the bread and butter of the conversation is going to go. So I'm excited to talk about this, and I hope all of you at home watching are just as excited as well. Let me go ahead and
I just gotta say too, I just love the intros you're putting together, man. They always look so good, especially when we put like the commercial for something in particular. It just blends so seamlessly, and I just want to praise the hell out of you for all your time and effort making it look so good.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Let me get this moved off. So, starting off here, this isn't anything really to do with Monstroid, but as noted here, Ted Mayer created this is a concept character called Brainiac, but kind of looks a bit like Monstroid in terms of head shape and then the claws. And if you're thinking maybe not so much here, I feel like definitely this iteration I feels more like Monstroid that we have here. So unfortunately, there's no prototypes of Monstroid that are out there at all or anything that was shown off, much like we have when we're talking about the vintage toy line. We usually have a prototype and everything. And with Monstroid, we don't have that, but we jump right in here to the catalog. And I guess there are some notable differences here with the button being white as opposed to final release
and
being
the crank
red.
looks to be peach or orange.
Yeah. So I guess, maybe that's the prototype, I guess.
Yeah. Or about as close as the ones we're going to get.
Yeah. So
I always love these catalog pictures, like for these promotional, they always have like these awesome backgrounds with mountains and cliffs and terrains that just look like, you wish you had that to play with, with your action figures as a kid.
And actually, let's talk about that because more often than not, with the vintage toys, your experience with it far outweighs mine. As I've stated plenty of times, a lot of my experience with the vintage line was nothing but hand-me-downs along the way. So with Monstroid, was this a toy that you had at all as a kid, or you didn't get it until you were older?
Yeah, I had no idea he even existed until I was in my early teens, and it may have been like I can't remember when I first saw him. I know it was before I'd gotten into high school, I think, and I wouldn't actually own the toy until probably after high school, because I got the box at Happy's Flea Market before I ever got the toy back when I was in high school. Like I paid like $10, I think, for the box. just because it looked amazing. You know,
Yeah.
the box art.
Which
and
we'll get to
everything.
here very soon.
What's that?
I said we'll get to that very soon, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
But
after.
yeah, I just had seen pictures of them. I think in Lee's Toy Review magazine, and I think on the Adam Tyner website as well. So didn't know much about them, but you know, was intrigued, and then was kind of let down when the Monstroids are mentioned in the Christmas special, and you're like, "Hey, the Monstroids, just these goofy looking robots. Like, what the hell is this shit?"
Yeah, actually, I think I kept that slide off, but I'll get that image and we'll put it up before we move on, so people can kind of see at home exactly what Tyler was talking about.
Yeah.
Pretty decent size on
Oh, yeah.
Monstroid that you have here too, and of course we have the figures to scale, and the Horde slime, man. We talked about this plenty of times. Any instance, especially with Ninja Turtles and anything that had to do with slime, my mom immediately took it and either I think she just took it and threw it in the trash more often than not. She did not want me playing with the slime.
Never got an opportunity, but I wanted the Horde slime pit and was denied, as I mentioned before, in years past, that I saw it and was not allowed to have it. I don't think it was because of the slime. It may have become because of the slime. I don't know, but my grandmother just told me, no, you can't have that today.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I never saw the Ghostbuster slime to buy, not that I can recall. And the turtle slime, like the Flush-O-Matic, where you pour like the ooze to like the retro mutants. Like I never owned that as a kid, but I remember seeing the commercial. So which is probably good because, you know, you and I are very similar. I didn't like to damage my toys, and I would have found out pretty quickly that slime on my action figures would not have left them looking and feeling very good in my hand, you know, that slime residue.
Yeah. I think Mom was more concerned about, I don't want this getting on the carpet or on the couches. I'm sure more often than not, if it's staying in your figures, it's going to stain in the carpet.
Yeah. Well. And I just, I'm so glad I never did that. As awesome as the slime pit is itself, and the slime features that came with a lot of vintage toy lines, I'm glad I was deprived that.
Yeah. So we also get another shot here of that. Here's the box art. Unfortunately, no name check on the artist that worked on the box art.
No, and I guess I just always assumed it was William George, but you know, normally it's pretty well known if he's done it or not. Mm-hmm. But it's magnificent box art. I mean, it tells a story and include 4 characters on the box too, and building up the ferocity of this mechanical beast and seeing like what it looks like next to a child. Like, had I seen this and was aware of it, I'd have been all about it. I really would have. And I don't think it would have been something that my parents would have said, no, you can't have that, you know.
Well, that was another question that I had for you. Had you gotten this as a kid, how do you think Monstroid would have ranked with in terms of your playtime and storytelling? Because once you kind of get used to the gimmick, would this be a toy that you think you would have played with a lot, or do you think it was just special occasion? Because me personally, I would have seen this as I would have played with him a little bit, and then he kind of would have just been a background piece or something. I don't think I would have used him as often as.
You know, I don't know, because I had virtually no just other than Snake Mountain and Castle of Grayskull, I had Panther and a Talonfight, and that was it. So I pretty much had to use my imagination for everything else. So had I gotten Monstroid, he would have gotten a lot of use, because I would have, you know, I loved using the play features on all from Cobra Khan to Tongue Lasher and Rattler. I just loved seeing them do what they do, and I would have cranked up Monstroid a lot and have him flinging figures around. And I can tell you, I really would have been all about it. You know, it's a great simple toy. I mean, it's just this monstrous kind of mechanical crab, and just grabs you and spins them all around, and you know, those could crush you to death, could just spin you to where like your head's gonna, you know, kill over because you're being spun so fast, and it's up to He-Man to smash the hell out of it there.
I like how
and to never have gotten a mini comic either, you know, like that's another thing too. It's something is they seem to push. He was not featured in any mini comic whatsoever. No mention of it or anything like that.
Yeah. I do love, though, how the back of this at least tells the story, but also instruction on how to do it.
And the story that it tells on the back of the box, like you got the heroes, up on that cliff, like they're trying to sneak past Monstroid. It's like, oh no, you don't, and grabs a hold of Roboto and Cyclone, and it's just awesome. Like he's being like left in this big pit, to in hopes that people just think it's a robot that doesn't work or something like that, and it's great storytelling on the back, which is something you just didn't get that often with Masters of the Universe, at least with the vehicles and accessories and beasts. It was just images of the other figures you could buy. This tells a story. I love it.
And we got 1986 there in the bottom corner. So here's Monstroid out of the package, and of course we have assembly instructions, because of course you got to snap all the legs into place.
That's how mine was when I finally bought mine. I had to put them pretty much together. I think the claws were intact, but they had to put the legs together.
Yeah, and there you go. Which is very sturdy when you're snapping the legs in there like that.
Oh yeah, they don't come out.
Once they're in, they're in.
Yeah, of course. I think some of mine have come out, and that's probably due from moving and stuff like that. But
and here's the button changing from white to red. And there's the crank. Yeah, so we're just getting like our overall shots of the figure here, and then of course here is this broken.
This looks
down.
like Aaron McCarthy's artwork.
Yep, indeed. You would be correct there.
It looks epic, just awesome.
And then
that's the style guide right there, I think.
Yep. Which we'll have a couple more images here. This is
look at that. I mean, see, there's the jet sled being used prominently right there. Like, why couldn't we have got that with the jet sled card art that we talked about last episode?
Yeah.
Like this is an epic battle here. You got the Horde, well, not the Horde, but you got Skeletor, Beastman, the Snake Men, and He-Man on the jet sled coming in, almost as if like he sees that these guys are fucked. And he's going to come in and he's going to shut this shit down.
We got battle armor.
Yeah, right battle armor Skeletor, which making his just constantly still creeping around like that. And I love that Beastman was still being used this far into the line. Was still. I mean, him, Man at Arms, and Tila were used. Fairly frequently. I think with a lot of the later waves.
And here is it colorized, but we also too get Monstroid group affiliation evil horde role, the ultimate battling beast. So it tells you the power character profile. Does that say
clamors
maybe out of the ocean to grab anything or anyone that is unfortunate enough to be nearby, only by striking Monstroid in one place can it be stopped. Yeah, it's a little blurry and hard to read there, but
and I was always fascinated when I learned that this mechanical beast comes out of the ocean. I thought, what really?
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of odd, but very, very cool at the same time. I just thought, like, why wasn't that explored a lot more? And I just thought that was so neat to hear when I learned that about him many years later.
So now we get our instructions.
Well, I wonder how much he would have been back in the day. Like if you go to our local hills back in the day, a monster probably would have been like a $10, $12, maybe $15.
I think
deluxe item.
18.
Damn, 17. That's a high price. That's a premium item back in the day, man. 1996.
But I also don't recognize the sticker, so I don't know in particular what this.
Yeah, it may have been.
So it could have been cheaper elsewhere.
It could have been, which I feel like you always come across a lot of those ads for department stores back in the 80s that always had like this is on sale for like $12.99 or something like that.
Yeah. So just the instruction manuals, which is always awesome. I imagine you could probably go on eBay and just find this alone and see how much that's going for. But Monstroid did make a couple of appearances, and we'll get to the main attraction of that here in a minute. But here is some from a German story that we have here. Which
some good artwork.
Oh, yeah. But once again, for whatever reason, Hordak always looks really odd in these stories.
People trying to draw his toy form always seems, it's like he's not It's almost like they don't know how to translate him to print. You know, Larry Houston did a pretty good job, and of course Bruce Timm did an amazing job drawing Hordak. Like, he's not drawing the toy; he's drawing his version of Hordak, and it gives him life. So I think a lot of people had a lot of trouble trying to draw a lot of these characters, Hordak in particular, without just drawing the actual toy.
Yeah. So we get some more shots here from the German story, which other than Hordak, art in this looks really, really good.
Yeah, He-Man looks really good. Very colorful.
And then this is from an Italian story. So I'm assuming that's supposed to be Man at Arms.
Because that's Man at Arms. Vintage Man at Arms had no mustache.
Yeah,
so.
It just looks really, really odd. But hey, we got
Rio Blasty. The assholes that made Godzilla in 1998 stole this idea.
Yeah, pretty much.
Roland Emmerich, you suck.
Yeah, I think that Godzilla is easily the worst in my opinion. And I've watched like 30
I was gonna say, you
Godzilla
damn
movies.
near every one of them. So.
Yeah, and that's easily.
I hated it back then too, man. Like, God, the movie sucked.
That was a scenario where, much like you with Phantom Menace, when I saw it in theaters, I kind of knew it was bad, but I tried to hype myself up because, like, I bought the soundtrack, and the soundtrack was awesome. And
the soundtrack was on. I did have that for Christmas that year.
Yeah,
but that movie, I think we bought it, or my brother did when it came out on VHS, and tried to watch it again. Like, God, I'm sorry, man. It's just no. Especially after those teaser trailers. The teaser trailers were so enjoyable and were so well done.
Yeah.
And then you get this shitty movie with Matthew Broderick and all these other bad characters. Oh, God.
Yeah. But the art in this Italian story, not the best.
No, it's not horrific. You know, it's not like it's the Golden Book Trap. You know, it's some of the shittiest artwork imaginable. But
we're going to use
tolerable.
A giant magnet.
Yeah, with a crane that looks a little too of our world.
Yeah. It really does, doesn't it? I mean, like, what the?
Is that is that? I was gonna say, is that Drag Store? Like, just colored wrong? No, it's Hordak.
Yeah, it's Hordak.
Yeah, it's Hordak.
But
and his head looks well. It's cool to see him using the scuba attack.
Yeah, but at the same time,
yeah, he looks terrible though.
Indeed, he does. And then, of course,
this is the creme of the creme, the cream of the crop. One of the finest Earl Norm paintings he ever did was this. You talk about capturing my imagination. When I saw this, I think it was on He-Man.org back in the early days of He-Man.org. Like, I couldn't stop looking at this. I was like, this is beyond epic.
Yeah.
I mean, just you could hear the sounds of the waves crashing on the rocks and everyone just, fighting and
then like the seaweed.
Oh yeah, they hadn't touched the seaweed. Like, he just freshly emerged from the water and just started attacking everybody.
Yeah,
it's and it was a book cover. When I learned that, I was like, a book cover. That's how this originated. It was a book cover. So I mean, which you can get an original print of this, or a nice print from Mad Duck posters. It's not cheap, but you can get one for like $105. So
I mean, that's kind of reasonable given what you're getting.
I've contemplated picking up a couple of their prints. Because it's almost $100 a piece, from $85 to $105 a piece. I don't know anybody who has them, so I would assume as much as they charge, the quality has got to be, I would hope, very good.
Yeah,
but it's a decent sized poster if you get that. Like, the smaller print is sold out, but the larger one is still available. And
come on, blow your money, buy one, do it, take a chance.
It is in my basket on their website, that with a couple of others.
Yeah. If any of you at home have any of the posters from that shop, leave a comment down below and let us know the quality on that.
Yeah.
But we move from that to more posters. Tyler, these look oddly familiar to you.
Yes, they do. In fact, if I look over here to my left, I can see that exact same poster on my wall now.
Yeah, which we'll talk about that after we're kind of finished talking Monstroid and we'll discuss more about you rearranging the He-Man room. But
that's still a work in progress here, but it's getting there.
But it's awesome including Monstroid in something like in one of those gigantic spread posters with all
Yeah,
the characters.
and
on
this
them.
is probably the most packed out. I mean, even though it's and because the characters they're all a lot smaller in scale. If you look at the other posters, they're bigger because the waves are getting progressively bigger. More. You got Snake Man, the Horde, Evil Wars, and the Heroic Wars, and all these play sets and stuff like that. So it's a lot to try to pack in there.
Yeah,
It's just a nice little trade ad here.
Yeah, which once again you're talking about. It would be awesome as a kid. You got this toy, and it's like, oh, you got your sandbox or something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do not want to get sand inside a Monstroid because it would probably mess.
I have to use like a brown blanket to pretend like it's this big sandy dune or something like that.
Yeah. So that is all that we have in regards of that. Much like anytime we do these spotlights, all images that you currently saw pulled from Battle Ram blog. Link is down below. Go check out the website. It's an amazing source. And he's also working on the new He-Man.org, which is still, much like Tyler's He-Man Room, a work in progress. So go check out those sites. Check out all the links down below.
I will say, I do have my Monstroid box right here.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
And here's some little extra shots here, like some of the promotional stuff on the side.
Okay, yeah. Those were images I didn't have, so
yeah,
definitely show that off.
It's pretty much the same on the bottom there, and then on the sides, it's just more of that. But if anyone's interested in what it looks like in scale and size and everything, it's a pretty decent sized box.
What's the price tag that you have on there in the corner?
This is from Bradley's. The actual price is kind of deteriorated. Like it's like the tag is still there. Well, there it is. So you just can't see it. I think I did get this for $7.
Man,
yeah. This would have been like in 2001, I think. I think it was 11th grade in high school when I picked this up. I got this in the Beam Blaster and Artillery box. It was just more about owning the artwork. I didn't care. It was like, it just looks amazing. I have to have it. So
he knew he had to have it. So one thing that you may have seen noticeably omitted is that Monstroid was on the cover and the main focus of Star Comics issue number 5. So we're gonna flip through this together. Tyler, I read this comic a couple days ago because when we decided we were gonna do Monstroid and I saw this, I'm like, I'm just gonna read this comic. I don't want to just kind of glance over this, and the cover itself looks really badass. So
yeah, the cover's not bad.
The cover's not bad, but once we start flipping through here, I think that this story in particular, it starts off well, but the wheels come off pretty quickly.
See, I would disagree. Like, I love this big splash page, but the when it gets going with the Horde, like, we got to use all our brain powers, and someone's like, no, what is this? What is this shit?
No, that's what I meant, though. I think this is a good start, but the wheels come off.
Oh yeah, they come off very quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the description that they give of Monstroid. He comes from the darkest depths of the sea of Rakash. Well, we were talking about Rakash. We were talking about the pronunciation of this earlier, but summoned to the surface by the waves of pure evil. So it's like, okay, when you hear that, you're like, all right, that sounds okay. But I'm like, oh, they meant literally that we're being summoned by the powers of evil. But
it's a great introduction to it. Like, just come blasting out of the depths, all these bubbles, bursting all over the place, and then transition to a fish tank.
Yeah, transition. I mean, like, that would be a cool, like, if you're watching it in animated or like a movie aspect, going from that to the bubbles fade in, and we're moving to Adam here. But Adam's like, oh, these are Orko's fish, and he needs to be taking care of the fish, and Orko is like, I've got all these other. I'm busy. I can't do that. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds oddly familiar.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing to you as well as you're describing that. Someone just makes up a lot of fucking excuses. That's Orko for you.
But Extendar is in the story, which I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. But then we get to the part where Orko is supposed to have been in charge of helping Extendar extend and expand more. Hey, you need to rewire this and that and help me be better. This is another thing. But I got to feed the fish. And what about this?
Not the most logical way of Orko is going to be responsible for helping Extendar with his new powers. Like, that's something that's more aligned for Man at Arms to be working on.
Absolutely. I was reading that. I was like, yeah, that makes the fish, sure, but Extendar, no, not so much.
And someone as strong as like you're going to come in here and you're going to be upset with Orko over that. It just sounds like even though there's kind of been inconsistencies about how the characters portray. Like I just don't see him as someone who is going to come in and start giving the littlest guy in the room a lot of shit.
Yeah. But we get a little bit of the Extendar backstory in terms of how Extendar came to pass, which kind of through the various things that Extendar shows up in, the little amount that he does, it's pretty consistent with how Extendar came to be.
Yeah, I had no problem with like Hordak being responsible for creating snout spout supposedly, and some forms of media he's responsible, and other times there's no mention of it. But but he is responsible for creating Extendar along with Dragstore, and I had no problem with that at all.
Yeah, and Fright Zone here in toy form getting some love. Yeah. So that's always nice to see, but
this is a very stale panel where it's just like I'm just going to draw the heads of all these toys, like they're in council. But you couldn't have Hordak sitting on a throne talking to these guys, and like no, they're going to have a séance here, and it's just it's unfortunate. When I went back and reread this, not that all the toy-based comics that were released back in the 80s had every issue treated great. I think about like Thundercats and Silverhawks that were released under the Star Comics banner. I feel like they were given a little bit more credibility to begin with, even though He-Man got better at the very end of its wave. They just, whoever was on this clearly was not happy and just saw it as just slop. Not that every Star comic was bad, because there were a couple of early ones that are not bad, even though some of the dialogue and the scenario's a little kabuki-ish, but it's just like they just really weren't trying to put their best efforts forward. Like, it's a comic based on a toy line. Oh, I guess I got to do it because I want to work on, whatever.
I want to get my foot in the door.
So they'll do whatever.
But with our powers combined, we have to use our brains to help get Monstroid out of the sea, and they're going to use Multibot to help with that, which I'm like, okay,
I mean, had I had this as a kid, because that was all about who all's in here, and I'd have been thrilled to have this as a kid, because I've seen that Multibot was also in here as well, but he's not. It's a very forced introduction to it. It doesn't blend so well.
Yeah, they have to channel their mystical thought waves through his cybernetic body, and maybe it could.
God, man, even that's not good. But that's a cool panel right there.
Yeah, Monstroid popping out of the water is fun. Skeletor, of course, sees this all happening. Oh, it's I must investigate this. And then
Aldrin and sees it's Monstroid.
Yeah, and I mean this is a cool shot too.
It's a cool shot, and I feel like it's been used a couple of times. Like he's coming out of the jaw of Grayskull, even though it's supposed to be Snake Mountain, and I think that was used. I think issue number 2 as well. Like he comes out, darting out on top of Panther out of like the jaws of Grayskull there too as well. Yeah. Like, well, I guess it's just kind of a way of just being cheap, and it fills in the gap. Kids are dumb.
And Orko's playing cards when
he's playing solitaire while Cringer watches, I guess.
Yeah, and the alarm has gone off. Extendar saying, it's Monstroid. We Extendar, you go and see what you can do. I need to transform into He-Man. Which, boy, ugh. Not good. It's not good right there.
Not He-Man's and Battle Cats. Like, it's just very disproportionate.
It's
very disproportionate.
It's really, really awful.
Yeah, I come on, man. Like,
what's the line? Let's see. No, I thought there was something that Orko said. Maybe it's a little bit later where I'm like, that doesn't stick out. Look at the pure laziness of this. It's basically just the same shot, just recolored.
Which makes me wonder what the time frame it was, like the deadline to get some of these books done, because it was short lived. It only went over just over a year. The Star Comics wave. So they clearly just were, I guess, just trying to hurry the hell up, and I don't know because Muppet Babies was going on at the time, and I think Droids Some other books. I think Heathcliff had his own Star comic as well, if I remember correctly, and a few others. So I don't know if some of these guys are working on those books as well. And they're just like, oh, whatever, just get the shit done.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out the size of that guy. How much does he weigh? And then Monstroid, of course, picking up Multibot. Hordak saying, "I have to control the beast. Put him down." And then he sets down Multibot. Extendar shows up. Not so fast, whoever you are. And then that's when Extendar.
that I got to call foul on too. Like, and they would do that not just in here, but like in Thundercats so well is that they just extend their arm out or their weapon that isn't a projectile, and somehow a blast comes out of their hands as if like, it's like, dude, come on, man, have a little bit more respect for these characters. Yeah, like that's just stupid.
But this is when we get the backstory here. That Grizzlor was the one that kind of made this happen, and then Extendar escaped from the Fright Zone, which, I mean, that's an awesome concept to think about, is that that toy being used is like, Grizzlor lured him here. This is the place where experiments may also be taking place. And if it doesn't work out, we'll just feed you to the gigantic monster.
Absolutely. So that's a story that should be expanded upon, because the War Machine mini comic is, it's not, it has a couple of good panels in it, but other than that, it's pretty forgettable.
Yeah. And
but I love the concept though.
Hordak's pose right here seems oddly familiar to me. Like, it seems like it's been used as like a logo for something. Maybe it's like,
I guess he's trying to draw like the old New England Patriots.
Yeah, actually, that's I think that's what it is. Like, you put a footballer right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You think about that. Artists oftentimes would just get inspiration from other.
I'll just draw that pose.
I mean, we see that. We see that happen to this day.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately,
Mass Universe.
Which I'm not too keen on, to the way that he's constantly throwing Extendor's legs, constantly like they're extending out, like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
That's just not how the character is supposed to be portrayed. And again, it's just these guys just don't quite get the concept of what these characters do. And he gets Multibot right here, like the configuration, like just jumbles all around you and then just reforms in this new configuration to lock him down to the ground.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think
it's still goofy as hell, but at least their heart was in the right place about how to depict Multibot, even though he's not used much.
Yep. And then towards the end of the story, it's just the characters saying everything that's happening. And I was like, why? You don't have to let the images tell the story. We don't have to sit and explain every little detail, but that's what happens. That's
what bothers me a lot of stuff. Like, you don't need to insert unnecessary dialogue in a panel that is already telling you the story, like to get in a really bad quip or a witty line or someone just pointing out the obvious. Like, okay, that's what the pictures are for, dumbass.
Yep. So Skeletor has been taken by Monstroid. He-Man shows up, and then He-Man is going to get taken by Monstroid as well. So it's this comic not great at all.
No.
Yeah. But it's just everything here. Oh, well, Extendor's in no immediate danger. Let me save Skeletor. It's like, oh, okay. And then he's right. He has He-Man, one of the finest warriors Eternia's ever seen. But more importantly, someone who's been a friend to me. Even when I was changed by Hordak, He-Man stood by me, a true friend. So it's just, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just you're force-feeding unnecessary exposition. It's just not needed.
Yeah.
Again, they just don't quite grasp the concept of what these characters are about. And then it just wanders out to the ocean, which, that's what you would expect. Like, grab someone and take them out to where they're going to drown.
Yeah.
Or maybe some other sea monster might swim by and grab a hold of him and eat him or something like that.
But Extendar is going to follow, because Extendar extends, and then Orko realizes, oh shit, I didn't do what I was supposed to, and Extendar is not going to be able to reach the heights that he would had I.
He doesn't need to be like, stretching like fucking Stilt Man. It's just, it's just.
Yeah, so then Orko manages to...
Multibot looks like a giant cockroach right now. Like a cockroach.
Yeah, takes over this...
is about.
takes over the circuitry of Multibot and decides to have Multibot go and attack. Once again, Extendar blasting.
I would love to say, what the hell were you thinking when you drew that there? Like, what made you feel like this is what I got to do right now? Like Extendar, whose gimmick is he extends, like he shoots palm blasts out of his hands, and he can, they can reach the lowest depths of the ocean and hit something of a mechanical, strength.
Yeah. But He-Man latches on to Skeletor here, who Skeletor thought he could hold his breath forever. It turns out that he couldn't. And then it's just, Hordak, you will rue the day.
And then they feed him Multibot.
Which is cool, I guess. But
yeah,
he doesn't like how Multibot tastes, so then he pieces out of there. Skeletor hops on Panther and pieces out of there. And that's basically how the story ends. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's not doesn't do a very good job of building up Monstroid. It's this devastating, creature or something that, is. But unfortunately, that's what the Star Comics, a lot of them did. They were treated as, someone might say, advertisements for the toys. When really they could have been given some great stories. And that's just what irritates me to this day. They just waste opportunity after opportunity, and they continue to do it today because the people in charge. Just why not put your best efforts into making great stories? Like, what does this need? And let's just be lazy about it. Let's hire people that are cheap and don't care. And if they do this, they'll be willing to do all this stupid shit.
But you were talking about how that bummed you out. But Tyler being Tyler, of course, he's thought of stories, and so much so that Tyler is now going to share a story that is something that he's had for a while. And not only that, this is something that got illustrated. It may see the light of day at some point, but Tyler's going to tell a story. We will show off a couple of the images from the finished product. But yeah, Tyler, I'll pass it on to you, and you can kind of, I guess, give some backstory if you want about how this came to pass, and then we'll go into your original story idea.
Yeah, much like some of the other opportunities I had to write mini comics, one of our listeners reached out, and we were talking about the Monstroid illustration. I was just saying, that's a story. Like that illustration, like that tells a story. And he's like, I like your idea. I'm putting together a fan project and with some other people too, and I'd like you to write a story based on that poster. I said, I'd love to do that. So I wrote, I think two drafts, maybe. I don't think I wrote a third one. And it did get illustrated. It's supposed to have been illustrated by Carson, the guy who did the Leech mini comic with and the Clam Champ Ninja book, but he disappeared. And then a wonderful artist by the name of Danabris, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's an Italian artist. His style is very Alcala inspired. He likes to draw in that style, and does a wonderful job. He was asked to come in and do the illustration for the story. It's a full 14 pages, and it's called The Leviathan. And it's pretty much just an origin story for what Monstroid was and everything, and bringing the Horde into it. The finished comic itself, there were some changes. Like the story, like the illustrations are exactly what I wanted. A lot of the dialogue was changed at the end, which is kind of like if you work in the entertainment industry, people are paying you to do something, they have the right to go in and change things because they're paying you, and it's their project at the end of the day. So, grand scheme of things, I can't be too upset about having some certain things changed that I did not write. But what I wrote is illustrated, so that's kind of what I was really excited about. Well, all I have left is pretty much the first draft that I wrote, which a couple of the characters are tweaked because it was trying to be flexible with everyone that was working on this project to make sure they had access to whoever and make sure certain characters are not used overabundant. So I had access to like a certain finite amount of characters that I was like, I want this character and this character and that as well. But the story starts off, Ruby Red portal forms along the rocky cliffs of Rakash. A mechanical foot steps out of the portal laughing. Well done, Modulok. And then you see the splash panel. Out of the portal steps Dialomog, Modulok, with his Gatemaker, Scorpia, Octavia, Grizzlor, bursting out of the portal, Mosquitor, ready to pounce on any prey, and Horde troopers follow. Dial-A-Monk steps to the edge of the cliff looking out at the Sea of Rakash. You're positive this is the exact location of this Leviathan Hordak demands we capture. Modulok steps next to Dial-A-Monk, clutching his hands together in excitement. Positive. My time on Eternia provides endless knowledge of the unknown. Just look below. Far distance front shot of the villains looking down to the bottom of the cliff, water crashing on the jagged rocks. A set of ancient shackles lie attached against the rocky wall. Modulok speaks. Down there is the ancient sacrificial rock. A human sacrifice must be chained to the water's edge. Only then will this legendary killing machine rise from the depths, claims its sacrifice, and honor the one responsible for it. Modulok turns to Dial-A-Monk with concern. However, legend states that if the sacrifice is taken away, its anger will know endless fury. Dial-A-Monk smiles unfazed. My force squad and I will seek out the necessary gift from a local village. Modulok attends to his Gatemaker while Octavia and the Horde troops prepare the communication station. Very well. We will stay behind and make preparations for the beast's return to Etheria. I'll inform Hordak on the progress. The warriors take off on sky cycles. Modulok in the foreground faces Hordak on the view screen. Hordak speaks. Is my plan still intact, Modulok, as he snarls? Modulok smiling with certainty. I'll devote myself to Horde Cook again if this fails, mighty Hordak. Modulok sets up a sound monitor on the cliff as Octavia approaches him. What is this thing we're after, she asks. Modulok turns to her. According to legend, it's called Monstroid. And then it's just like, talk about like panel-wise here, like middle panel. Monstroid unveiled in front of the central tower with Hero, the Elders, and King Hiss. A fearsome mechanical creature that at one point was used to safeguard the three towers of Eternity to prevent forces from breaking the alliance that built them. So that was my idea, is that he was created as almost a big, massive, glorified security guard for the three towers. Like,
I know that you had, it was Harryhausen definitely had you were inspired by Harryhausen.
Oh God,
movies,
yeah. I was not shy about it. I was like, oh, this has got Clash of the Titans written all over it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I just drew it from. And I'm you know, a lot of stuff I come up with is very Harryhausen inspired. I'm like, I don't care. I can try. You can use these ideas and translate them into He-Man stories.
Yeah, especially with any of that stuff, taking it and going back to the times of the three towers and doing that, especially if it's something that of the myth of every X amount of time this being will reveal itself. Like there's so many characters you could take in that regard and use it that way. So to use Monstroid as that in that time period of Eternia, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I just and what's illustrated that is you've got Randomir, Hero, Eldor, King Hiss, all just kind of standing looking at Monstroid in front of the three towers.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. Okay, first a mechanical creature that at one point. Okay, yeah. Next would be Monstroid is grabbing two Snake Men, which I changed that. Instead of two Snake Men, I have him grabbing Squeeze and a African tribal character that I had come up with that was an homage to one of the Earl Norm paintings, I think in the Safari issue of He-Man, the magazine, where she sees He-Man with like this kind of African tribal leader. It's like I always wanted to see like a Shaka Zulu kind of type character, as I've said before. So I think I gave him the name Hornado, I think, because I was doing like a backstory for Hero and Eldor, and I was coming up with like characters. Like I really wanted him to be like one of the staples of that group. So in the finished illustration, it's Squeeze and the Hornado being grabbed by Monstroid because Monstroid can't tell the difference anymore. He's just attacking everybody. Like, yeah. He's like, we can't have this anymore.
Yeah.
So men who attempted to steal the power were met with uncontrollable punishment. And I was asked to do this against my will for the story.
Okay.
A cloaked, shadowy figure tampers with the mechanisms. It's said that an unnamed one tampered with the creature and made it too dangerous to be kept around, because this was supposed to be in hopes to tie in with what Mattel was doing. So he was trying to be a good sport and honor the bullshit that Scott Nylick had done. So I
Eh,
the
yeah.
illustration shows the shitty version that Scott Nollet came up with. I'm like, but Dannebrist did a great job of illustrating everything, whether it was good or not, like in terms of ideas. So that's the only reason that is there. um, and then Monstroid faced off against Hero and Eldor as they blast it with their sorcery. Excuse me. So after that, they realized that okay, we got to get rid of things. So Hero and Eldor banish the Monstroid to the depths of Rakash and just send him down to the bottom of the sea, and he's just gone after that. And then Modulok and Octavia look down at the sacrificial rock. Apparently, the Snake Men at one point used this rock to offer sacrifices to Monstroid for its services of destruction. We will test that theory today. I didn't really expand more upon that. It was just
You don't
kind of
need
like,
to.
okay,
You don't need to.
I didn't have time to do it anyway. There was not enough space. Got to get this shit done. 14 pages.
Yeah.
So then we cut to a small Eternian fishing village, the city of the village of Drizzt, which is just a reference to the episode Prince Adam No More on the King Randos Royal Tour. That's where they're going to. So I just let me use that. And I made it a fishing village, so it's near the ocean.
Okay.
So the peaceful fishing village on the outskirts of Drizzt receives a royal visit this day, unaware of the threat to follow. Prince Adam with Lady Amanda, which is only name dropped in the episode The Dragon's Gift, but she is illustrated and she's modeled after Jane Seymour in Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger because she's so fucking hot in that movie. So for Fritchie illustrations that Kevin Sharp has done for me, if Lady Amanda's there, she's modeled after Jane Seymour because I like to think like, yeah, that's who Prince Adam would have been, shacking up with from time to time. It's like he has to have some regular female interests on the show that just it's just Taylor, but they never get together. They will eventually at some point, but in the meantime, there's got to be some women that he's courting. And Lady Amanda, I was like, let's give her some placement in the mythology there. So Prince Adam with Lady Amanda riding on Stridor stroll into the village, greeting all the locals. Lady Amanda dismounts with Adam's help, smiling effortlessly at the children approaching her. Wasn't this a wonderful idea, Adam? I'm glad you asked me to accompany you on your royal tour. Adam shaking hands with the local mayor. Absolutely, Amanda. I couldn't be in better company. Amanda turns to Adam. Where are all the heroic warriors? The children keep asking if they're coming as promised, as the children start petting Stridor. Adam addresses Amanda with a charming smile. Trust me, my friends never let me down. Outside the town, a stranded attack track sits with severed treads. Okay, everyone out. The panel illustrates out of the attack track steps Lizardman, Rio Blast, Extendar, Snout Spout. Rio speaks. What in the name of the sources could have blown up the attack track's treading? Lizardman kneels down at the severed treading. Look at this. Standing up, holding the remains of spiked tire pellets. Someone must have been expecting us. Snout Spout looks towards the village. Prince Adam. Oh, wait. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm thinking too much. Snout Spout looks toward the village. Prince Adam and Lady Amanda are supposed to already be there. Extendar's head rises up. I don't have Mechanex's incredible vision, but the village looks like it may be under attack.
I like how you worked that in there.
Oh, yeah, I did that deliberately.
It's going back to what we discussed last week. People often thinking that Extendar makes Mechanex seem useless. It's like, no, that's not the case.
No, absolutely not. No. And then you have a shot of the village, smoke rising from it. And then a splash panel of Dialemog blasting beams from his head, leading Scorpia on his right side, which the final version had Entrapta replaced with Scorpia because Scorpia was used in someone else's story. So, instead of Grizzlor, it's Leech.
Okay.
Which was in the second draft, and I don't have that with me. Leading Scorpio on his right side, Mosquito on his left side, Grizzlor hovering over the group, arms flexed out, baring his vicious teeth. Adam placing Amanda on Stridor. Hang on, Amanda. Stridor, take Amanda to safely. Grizzlor effortlessly snatches Amanda from behind as she screams off of Stridor. A beauty with the prince will make it more than a satisfying gift. From next to Grizzlor, Adam runs after him, yelling, no. Scorpion's tail grabs Adam's leg as Grizzlor backhands the prince with brute force. Adam falls at the feet of Dialemog, and smiling at Adam, Dialemog fires a stun blast, knocking Adam unconscious. Good night, sweet prince. Small middle panel. Mosquito leaps on Strider's neck, piercing his armor with his draining needle. Strider cries out in pain. Dial-a-Mug yells, "Let's go. We have what we came for. Let's get back to the rocks." The heroic warriors arrive to see the devastating aftermath. Snout Spout riding the jet sled, blasting water onto the fires. Lizardman helps Adam up. Adam's still stunned. It was the Horde. They took Lady Amanda. Rio Blast and Extender stand before him. Rio speaks, "Don't worry, Prince Adam. We will get her back safely." And then Lizardman speaks, "But where do we start looking? We have to act quickly. You can bet whatever the Horde is planning, it'll be soon." A local fisherman approaches the group. "Your Highness, I heard one of the horsemen say that they were heading back to the ancient sacrificial rock on the cliffs of Rakash." Adam's eyes widen. "Go after her. I'll see if I can find any more help." And then you have a nice shot of the heroic warriors run off, Snout Spout leading the way on the jet sled. Adam kneels down to Stridor and tells him help's coming immediately. Adam runs behind a barn and unsheathes the power sword. "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power." He-Man helps Strider to his feet. "Can you manage to ride into battle, my friend?" He-Man riding Strider at great speed out of the village. Strider speaks, "After Amanda is safe, I have a mosquito to crush." All right. Wide shot of the rocky path leading down to the chains. The force squad escorts Lady Amanda down the path to the sacrificial rock. Water crashing on the rocks. Dial-a-Mug laughs as Scorpia shackles Amanda to the rock. "Is our gift secured, Scorpia?" Scorpia smiles devilishly as her tail cups Amanda's sad face, turning it towards her more than ever. Grizzler accompanied by the Horde troopers to Modulok. They're ready down there. Modulok operates the communication panels to communicate with Octavia in the water. "Octavia, this is Modulok. Are you in position?" Octavia floating above a cage door on the surface of the sea. A barnacle-covered steel cage door. Yeah. Her tentacles turning a rusty crank. "I'm currently open in the cage door now." And then you see a small panel of an infinitely bottom cave that she's looking at. A siege of bubbles start emerging as the fish scatter quickly. Octavia, in fear, swims swiftly away from the mysterious underwater eruption. Dial-a-Mug smiles with joy, pointing out to the rising water and bubbles emerging. "There!" Octavia emerging from the water, her head turning back. Amanda frozen with intense fright. The Force Squad and Amanda see the shadow of a very large black being slowly coming to the surface. Shot above from Monstroid's left side, Monstroid emerges from the water, claws held up high, looking directly at Amanda. The Force Squad all step back except Dial-a-Mug. Dial-a-Mug points to Amanda. "Monstroid, Leviathan of Eternia. The mighty Hordak offers you this gift in return for your devotion to devastation in the name of the mighty Horde." The heroic warriors approach the cliffs and see the Modulok and the troopers looking down below. Lizardman speaks. "Amanda must be down below." The heroic warriors look down from afar, their eyes in shock at the monster. Extendar. "What in the name of Eternia is that, and how do we stop it?" And then suddenly you see someone speaks from behind the heroes. "Let's rescue Amanda and ask questions later." He-Man and Strider leap past the heroes over the cliff, his battle axe held out. The heroes follow, charging down the rocky path. Modulok, in shock, looks at the unexpected guest. "He-Man?" Horde troopers stop them. Small close-up of Amanda's face, tears running down her face, her cheeks, and she just in shock yells, "He-Man!" He-Man's Dial-a-Mug turns confused. He-Man slams his fist through the side of Dial-a-Mug's head. I always want to see He-Man punch the fuck out of Dial-a-Mug. I just thought that would be such a great visual. Dial-a-Mug sparks, oil, and wires flopping out of the severed hole drops to the ground immediately as the warriors and the Horde stand facing Monstroid. Mosquito, Scorpia, Grizzler leap into action. Strider immediately back kicks Mosquito across his needle nose, crushing it as he slams against the rocky wall. Strider speaks. "That's one squash problem." Extendar extends his arms to both sides, tying Scorpia's tail and Octavia's tentacles around each other. He-Man looks to see the fleet of Horde troopers running down the path. Small close-up of his face. "Lizzie, time for Powerball." Lizzie speaks. "No problem." He-Man hurls a balled-up Lizardman at the oncoming Horde troopers. Lizardman, balled up tightly, smashes through the Horde troopers like bowling pins. And Modulok ducks from multiple shots fired from Rio Blast down below. The heroes turn quickly to Monstroid as it lifts Rio Blast out of the water. Snout Spout leaps aboard the jet sled, blasting the Horde's equipment, and Modulok screams no. Snout Spout turns to see Rio in trouble. I've got to distract that creature, or Rio and all of us are fish food. And then that's when you would see the big panel, which is what Nathan's showing up there. That's what that leads to right there.
Homage to the
Yeah, that's the homage right there.
Yeah.
And He-Man is yelling back at Extender, which gives reason why Extender's running back. He's telling Extender, free Amanda and get her to safety. So I gave reasoning to the position there of what's going on there. He-Man slams his axe into the belly of Monstroid with no effect. Strider enters the water, firing a blast from his rear cannon with no effect. Water crashing around He-Man as he leaps onto one of Monstroid's legs. Grizzlor sees the attempted rescue and leaps down, arms wide, ready to grab and tear. And Lizardman leaps into the air with a flip kick to Grizzlor's chin. Lizardman leaps onto Grizzlor's back, firing multiple open hand chops to his head. Close up of Extender snapping Amanda's chains. Monstroid snatched up Snout Spout off his jet sled. He-Man struggles with the waves as Monstroid lowers himself into the water and spins out of control, creating a massive whirlpool, dragging He-Man into it. He-Man struggles in the spinning and notices a red mechanical extension jetting out of the beast. He-Man thinks quickly to himself. Something tells him that may be important. In the swirling water, He-Man winds up a thunder punch, timing it just right, and slams it into the mysterious protrusion with a loud bang. Monstroid's eyes go cross as his grip releases the heroes into the wild waters. The beast collapses back into the sea. Lizardman and Extender help Rio and Snout Spout out of the water. Amanda and He-Man embrace in a hug. Amanda looks up at He-Man. Is Adam all right? He-Man smiles. I couldn't have gotten here without his help, my lady. The heroic warriors surrounded by palace guards, escorting the remainder of the Force Squad, all shackled up as they confront Modulok. He-Man steps forward, facing down the evil scientist. What will it be, Modulok? An eternity in prison or the wrath of an angry Hordak? Modulok hangs his head in defeat. I don't suppose you're in need of an experienced cook.
I love how you bring that little bit that Modulok says, I'll demote myself to cook, and then tie it in.
And that's just a reference from the She-Ra series as well. That's why I put that in there.
Yeah.
But the second draft, there's some very minor tweaks, not a whole lot. But for the most part, what was illustrated is what I wrote.
Yeah, and as you saw in the little bit that we showed off there, like obviously Tyler's story way more dialogue heavy. You have to kind of break that down and make it a little bit shorter in terms of the story that you're telling. But
Daniels did a phenomenal job of like everything I was like looking to get, like in terms of like the angles and everything. He hit it all perfectly.
Yeah. So here's hoping that at some point down the road, maybe this project comes to pass. But there hasn't been any mention of this in like years now.
No, this was before COVID. I mean, that's how long ago this goes back, and we avoided talking about it just because like the guy that put this together, like it's his project. Don't want to like run the risk of like upsetting him or getting sued or something like that.
Getting sued.
You just don't know. You just don't know. I don't think that would have been the case, but it's like at the time, it's like what, this is a project. Just I was just thankful I was asked to do this, and I got a wonderful artist to work on it and bring it to life. And I just kept the images to myself for years. So like at least something that one of the few things that I had written was illustrated and finished. Yeah. And it's just like, what? We're going to talk about Monster. Like, why not just, talk
give
about it?
Yeah. You tell your story and we'll give it a tiny taste. But hopefully the whole thing will be out there at some point. But I would
It was an ambitious project. I mean, James was asked to work on it, and so was Tom, Danielle. A lot of people were asked to work on it and make contributions. Kevin Sharp even did. I'll send this to you real quick, Nathan. This was something me and Kevin did for this project. I'll send this to you. It was supposed to be like just one big, kind of a throwback to like the UK magazines and stuff like that, and stuff that was featured in those. I will send you this real quick. I should have just sent you this beforehand.
Well, while you're looking for that to send, I'll pop this up. This is referring to in the Christmas special. This is supposed to be Monstroid. So it's like, what? Yeah, no, that doesn't. I mean, that would be cool if these somehow got made into toys, but
they just sometimes some of the filmation stuff never seemed to blend. Even it's almost like this just doesn't fit.
yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
This was going to be a like, okay, Voltac has captured all these creatures. Can you help Voltac name which creature, what each creature is? So you've got the Darklings, the creeping Horak, you've got Karg, Garg, you got Loki, the Swamp Bat, the Shadow Beast, you've got Daemon the Demon, you've got Cowl, you've got oh god, the shit. He's featured in the Remedy. It's Warlock from Black Star. I forgot what his name is in the episode of the Remedy. I'm having a complete brain fart again on that one. But that's what that was going to be too. So it was cool to be asked to do that kind of stuff, and it's just beautiful work that Kevin did. Coloring and all that stuff too. So, and all in all, I'm thankful that people listen to the podcast over the years. Like, hey, this guy, has some good ideas. Like, let's do something together. And I'm thankful I was asked 3 times and was paid to do it. Well, twice.
Yeah.
To write something and try and bring it to life. And,
more often than not, it doesn't really pan out. But as we said, like that was a project. Now it was before COVID, so at this point we're like 5-6 years removed from the thing. But yeah, a little tiny taste for everyone out there. But I hope everyone enjoyed Tyler's story with Monstroid. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on to blabbing about all the other things that aren't Master Universe related?
I'd say just like with so many others, like part of the 86 wave, highly underappreciated, underdeveloped, and a lot of fun to be had. Even though that's not something you could have monsters show up in like every issue that involved the Horde or something like that, but build up a great story of this creature coming out of the ocean to do the bidding of the Horde. It's something that is yet to be fully realized, and I would like to see more done with the character. It's pretty much one, make him. He would have to be used sparingly. Like, you couldn't use him overabundantly.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's got to be like, you take the story that you told of Monstroid, and then we're not using Monstroid again for quite some time. Or maybe, if anything, explore more of give like a prequel to Monstroid. Maybe go back more into the times of what Monstroid did to protect the 3 towers and how he was used, or it was used then, as opposed to that. Maybe you go with that. I don't know. In terms of maybe like a sequel story, where do you think you would take Monstroid?
I'd say like Hordak manages to find some way of like recovering him to the surface, and unleashes him on like this path of destruction. Like, just turns him loose, towards various villages, and turns him loose heading towards the royal palace, and just causing destruction all over the place, like grabbing people, throwing this, throwing that, and just leaving waves of destroyed villages and homes, and just chaos like all over the place, just for the sake of because he can. Keep it simple. Don't need to be like overly like pretentious bullshit. Something out of the damn Dark Knight.
Well, let's talk about your He-Man room, because we'll focus on here. So normally you see Tyler and he's got his classics and his vintage collection behind him. So in terms of the room space, if we're looking at that is to your right.
Right here.
So that's your normal setup. So this wall in particular, I've noticed you have your commemorative line, and then you have your carded vintage. So,
and what's not available, or at least to see in view, is like like this,
man.
And this opens up. You got Zodak, Clawful, and Mossman was the exclusive with this set. Like, this is the only way you can get Mossman with this commemorative line. And for anyone who has not seen too many of these, on the back, you get the 85 William George poster.
Man, that's beautiful.
And just this beautiful box. commemorative boxes that Mattel did for this line.
Yeah.
It was you talk about something that was super exciting back when this thing they were hard to find, at least for me in where we live. I only came across them at Walmart, and it was by chance I overheard one of the employees say, "Oh, I got Marvel Legends." This is back when the line first started.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, well, just take those He-Man figures I have on layaway, and put them back." And I said, "I'll take those 2 He-Man figures." And it happened to be He-Man and Skeletor. So the first 2 He-Man figures I ever got were He-Man and Skeletor. The first 2 figures from New Adventures were He-Man and Skeletor. The first 2 figures that commemorative was He-Man and Skeletor. I tried to duplicate that with 2000X, and I couldn't quite do it since, couldn't make that happen. I tried to make that happen, but yeah. And this one too. This one here, the Battle Cat, and they did release Skeletor and Panther in this set as well. So you can get them in this nice set with this beautiful, kind of chrome blue box. And the thing is that this was a display box. You could open this up and have the actual toy itself, but this was like an extra display, which I was like, I ain't taking these things out. These boxes are too damn amazing. Mm-hmm. And then they give you pretty much a replica of what was on the boxes back then as well. And they're all nice. The only changes that they made like a small little tip on the bottom of their feet to make them easier to stand up. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they were pretty much exact replicas of everything that had come out. And they only did 2 waves of it.
Yeah.
And they let the fans vote on the second wave. And I remember some of the ones that I voted for didn't make it, like Clawful and Buzz Off. Did make it to release. But let's see if they just come off the wall. Easy here. But yeah, just in case anyone is not too familiar with it,
at some point down the road, we're actually going to have an episode where we're going to focus on the commemorative line and go through all the characters that were released in it. With those, you mentioned Walmart. I never remember seeing them at Walmart. I always remember just seeing them at KB Toys.
I remember seeing a couple there too, but they were so hard to find in general. Like I really saw them. They just weren't, and they released in finite numbers too. They didn't release a ton of them because they just didn't know how people would react to it.
Well, you think too, it wasn't that far removed from the line being over at that point because those came out in 2000, 99?
Yeah, I was in high school. I think it was in 11th grade. I think.
So it would have been 2000.
Those came out,
yeah.
And then 2000X came about a year later.
Yeah,
so it's almost like they're testing the waters to see, hey, will people respond if we bring He-Man back? And they sold well enough to where, I remember when 2000X was being launched and it was in stores. I found some of the commemorative stuff still available to buy, like at Toys R Us and I think KB, because some of those were exclusive. Like you'd only get them like at certain stores. I think some of them were Toys R Us exclusive. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, Toys R Us was good for that. We're gonna have our exclusive shit here at Toys R Us, but at the same time too, during that time period in collecting action figures, it's not like it is today with store exclusives. You didn't have scalpers weren't as prevalent back in 2000 as they are today.
No, because these were early days of eBay, and people were selling stuff. It's just like, hey, this is kind of old, $10, $15, $20.
What a time to be alive.
Yes, it was a very good time to be a collector. Even though your resources are limited, things were still somewhat affordable back then. So. But that commemorative line was a big damn deal when it came out, and I'm thankful that I got the ones that I did. I remember back in the days of AOL Messenger, I was talking to a guy who worked at Toys R Us. He hooked me up with some of them.
Oh, nice.
So it was good memories, man. A lot of good times back then.
What do you remember? What your AIM Messenger name at that time was? It wasn't the blonde Tom Cruise? We hadn't.
No. It may have been.
I'm trying to think of what your early AIM names were at the time, because I had
like the movie buff. I had that.
That one.
Yeah,
I think that may have been the first one I remember you having.
Yeah. So
the movie buff.
And his name was Liquid Disease.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember I traded him my Talon Fighter and my Rio Blast from childhood because they were missing everything.
Yeah.
There was nothing to them. I said I was so desperate to have one with the commemorative figures. He's like, all right, you send me those 2 items, and I'll send you. I think he sent me like 3 or 4 commemorative figures.
I think you got the better end of that.
I thought so too. I would later get a complete Talent Fighter and a complete Rio Blast and Rio Blast Menton card as well. So, that was something too that I'll touch on briefly. There was a store in Winchester that my dad bought a bunch of these from, and the people who owned it had cut a card in the back here where you could just open it up and pull the mini comic out and then put it back in.
Yeah.
So this is before I had access to see any of the mini comics that I didn't already own.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal to get these figures and just pull out the mini comic. Oh my God, I can finally look at these mini comics that I hadn't had since I was little. So, this would be considered, damaged. But to me, it was like, there was purpose behind the damage.
Right. Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Besides, people probably wouldn't even notice with it just having the way that you got it on display. No one would notice. But you got your Men on Card vintage. You got your commemorative stuff there. As we said, to the right of you is the normal setup that most you see on the show. To your left, though, because I on that wall, it's 87 movie stuff.
Yeah.
Did you is most of that unaltered?
It's been halved now. I've got the 87 movie stuff on one side. I've got the William George posters, and I've got Kevin Sharp's artwork that he's done for me over the years. Like the two or three of the four, because the room's still but that's kind of what it looks like right now.
Okay. Yeah. Eventually, you and I talked about this. When you finally get that all set up appropriately, I think we're due time to finally just make a little short video of it to show off your collection.
Which is still not everything. I still got so much stuff in storage, but I can't. I don't have room to do it. And right now, I've got to box up certain things.
You mentioned boxing up stuff. What are you planning on boxing up?
In here, it's just stuff. I've got too much stuff in general, like stuff that's not even He-Man related. Like I got my boxes of the comics in here as well too. I just need to find better places for that. This is strictly got to be He-Man and slash some Thundercats in here as well, along with my original artwork and things like that. So
yeah, because that one corner that you showed off, I remember it. At one point, you had GI Joe's set up right there. That's in the den. GI Joe is set up in the den. Turtles are in the bedroom. Marvel Legends are in the den. Yeah.
So in here,
speaking of Turtles, I actually found Leo and Mikey from the 2012 show that NECA put out. I found those. I found those two at Target yesterday, and it was funny because I had them in my hand. I was in the NECA section, and I walked to where the other toys are, and this dude was following me for a little bit and just giving me the stink eye, like, you son of a bitch. I can't believe you got to those before I did. And I mean, he was wasn't even really looking at me. He was just focusing on, because I had him right here.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm sorry, buddy. I saw him and just picked him up. Got there first.
Tell me you did buy him.
Oh yeah, I bought them.
I was gonna wait. You just drag them all over to see if we'd follow you all over the store, waiting to see if
I was gonna put them back. Yeah, I should have just stopped and held them and looked at them like I was debating that I wasn't gonna get them or something just to see. But yeah, I was it was kind of weird. I think that's happened a couple other times where they're just noticing what I have and they're like, shit, I missed out. But I mean, I was bummed that they didn't have Donatello or Raph, because I prefer those two turtles over Leo and Mikey. But yeah, they were $37.99 a piece. Yeah.
God, man.
Yeah. And with tax on each, it was $40 a pop. And I was like, all right, it sucks, but I got to get them. I have to have these. Because we talked about when the 2012 show was going on, and you and I had our doubts about it, but then we watched it and we liked it. Then we started buying the toys. Obviously, the Playmates toys put out for that line aren't the best and don't really resemble much of what you got in the show.
Yeah.
But regardless, we bought them anyway because we were enjoying the characters. But seeing NECA have that license and actually show them in the way that how they were in the cartoon. Plus, Mikey comes with the Ice Cream Kitty, and I'm like, that's a nice little
nice touch.
Yeah. So now I'm like, well, hopefully I can get Raph and Don. Hopefully I won't.
Maybe you're running to that same asshole at Target, and he'll
Yeah. I did see too at Target what is it? It's that 6-pack that's got the Turtles, Splinter, and Shredder in it, where it's the new. It's like it's based off the vintage style, but obviously it's like Origins where you can actually like.
Oh, they're articulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, maybe I should pick this up, but I chose not to because that Shredder does look okay, and compared to the Shredder that we got,
the vintage Shredder,
yeah, which I always hated. It's just like all hunchback, and
and his I just remember his claws like cut the palm of my hand.
Very sharp.
Yeah, very sharp.
I'm surprised that they didn't recall those back then. It's like kids getting hurt playing with their Shredder.
I wasn't going to go to my mom and say, "Oh my God, my toy cut me," And my mom would have been the type. All right, let me write an angry letter to the people at Playmates. Like, don't you have better things to do with
your mom was that kind of mom? My mom.
Oh, no. I was saying she would have never done anything like that.
Oh, I thought you were saying that she would.
No, because I just envisioned like what some of these parents are like. They buy this toy, their kid gets hurt. Well, I'm going to write an angry letter. And this is what I want to devote my time to doing here. Let me get their address for these assholes too. I would love to ask like what the mindset was. What were you doing that day? You felt like this is what you wanted to devote your time to sending an angry letter, so that the toy the rest of us are drawing is all taken away from us.
Yeah,
the opportunity to get. If you didn't have it and a friend of yours had it, you can't now because some Reverend Lovejoy's wife decided someone think of the children and they had her fucking recalled.
Yeah, I remember with Dick Tracy they made a big deal.
So I never heard about that issue with the Tramp because my brother had that figure.
Yeah,
and I never heard anything. Which I'm like, who decided like, who's walking around in Kmart and decide I'm offended by the Tramp because I'm homeless too?
Well, I think it was that. It was partly that, and then the fact that the Tramp is abusive in the movie as well. Maybe it tied into.
He slaps the kid, but the Dick Tracy beats the fuck out of him, man.
Yeah, but I think it was part that, and then the homeless thing you're talking about. I don't know, but more often than not, that's why you see that figure men on card at like antique shops or flea markets and things because people are buying them because they're like, oh, it's being talked about, it's getting pulled, this is going to be worth a lot of money, and much like starting lineups, not worth dick.
Well, but to our benefit, Dick Tracy is easier to collect because they're not that expensive to buy.
Yeah.
Unless you want all the weapons, then you have to pay, a little bit more.
But I love that Dick Tracy Playmates line. Like I would love.
Me too.
I would love to get the blank. But obviously I would just have to get it. I mean, I'm going to put him on blast. I bought an extra Dick Tracy figure and I gave it to Josh because Josh was working on like very various scales of customs. And I was like, hey, you working on that at all? He's like, nah, he pulled an Orco on me in the Star Comics.
Isn't that bullshit? It's almost like people say, oh, I'll do it for free. And it's like, if they ain't getting paid for it, then they get lazy about it.
Well, the same thing's probably going to happen because Josh has gotten into the NECA turtle line. Like he's gotten the movie figures, he's gotten the animated figures, he got the 2012 turtles, and he was disappointed because with Leonardo, the two heads you get, one is just like the white eyes, and then the other is like they're closed like in a meditative state that you pose them in. And he was like, I would prefer to have one that has the pupils on them. And he was like, yeah, that's something I'm going to work on. And I'm like, if you do that, let me know and I will pay you. And I guarantee that if he makes one for himself, I'm like, that looks great. Can you make one for me? He's just going to totally forget about it all. So I'm after the show, I might message and be like, hey, you know that Dick Tracy figure I gave you 5 years ago? Because this was around the time when Dad made all those coats. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let's take this and make a blank figure. I'm going to message Josh. Be like, hey, you remember that?
Like, I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, because I bought a coat for that to put on that figure that would very much resemble the blank's trench coat in scale.
Badass.
It's going to be perfect. So it's basically all he needs to do is just color the hat and then like Dremel off Dick Tracy's face and then put some of the
putty on there, I guess.
Put it,
yeah.
That's all I had. I'm going to hit him up and be like, dude, what'd you do with that?
He's like, well, you didn't pay me. just come up with some lame ass excuse to justify why they were being fucking lazy. I know what that's all about.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see if I can get a Leonardo head tossed in there. James in the chat. I'm running 20 minutes behind, but I'm loving Nathan's A Nice Guys t-shirt. One of my favorite movies in recent times. Yes, I adore this movie. Tyler, you still have not watched it, right?
Still haven't watched it, but that was something I told Nathan I will make a point at some point to just sit down and watch it because he's praised the hell out of it for a while.
It's good Shane Black. It's not bad Shane Black.
Yeah, it's not like Predator or The Predator, excuse me. And
speaking of which, surprised to see that Badlands critically, and it seems the audience has been enjoying that movie.
I don't believe that for a fucking second. Everything I know about that movie, there's no fucking way people are coming out of that movie thinking this is a great Predator movie. Fuck them for even thinking that.
I mean,
because I know what happens in it, and like, there's no fucking way people are coming out and genuinely feeling that way about it.
I'll check it out when it. I'm assuming Hulu will probably be the landing spot when it streams because Killer of Killers and Prey premiered on, or that's what.
Yeah, I have Hulu now too, and I'm not eager to watch either one of them.
I recommend Prey. I think Prey's great. Killer of Killers is it's honestly it's not bad. It's pretty enjoyable. I mean, from that aspect of it, despite your opinion on the newly released Badlands, I'm at least happy to see that there's a little more consistency there in terms of I'm going to say quality because I did enjoy both Prey and Killer of Killers. I mean, I'm not going to go to the theater and see Badlands, but I am intrigued enough by it. I don't know.
I'm not based on what this guy's doing because the guy who directed this directed Prey too, right? Yeah. Does not make me feel any more comfortable sitting down and trying to watch Prey at all. I just
is it the fact of what you know of Badlands? Is it just the aspect of like the predators actually talk kind of
they
thing,
talk, they have human problems and shit like that? Like, no joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the cyborg in the movie is the comic relief who just talks the entire time.
Okay. Yeah,
it's just like, oh my god, dude, fuck you for even things to go. Fuck you for doing it.
Prey is not like that. Prey is more traditional Predator movie. I'll tell you that. Like I liked Prey quite a bit.
Oh God, I just don't want to get mad watching.
I mean, if you're already hyping yourself up that it's like I'm gonna hate this, then I wouldn't recommend watching it. Like you know me, I went into it no expectations because I've watched what was it, Predators, The Predator, like all that shit sucked.
Yeah,
but I'm like, this comes out, I'm gonna check it out because that's what I do.
I mean, I guess look at it this way: I've hyped it up. I think I'm gonna fucking hate this movie. I'm gonna be angry for watching it. Like, and maybe it'll be okay. It's like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. I'm not gonna watch it again, probably, or something like that. I don't know. The way they portray Predator in recent films, it doesn't make me feel any more comfortable about anyone else coming to the table and making sure the Predators portrayed as like dominant apex killers who we don't sympathize with. We don't laugh at what they do. We don't have anything other than, oh my God, this thing's going to get this guy. He's dead. He's dead. Oh, I know he's dead.
Well, so with Badlands, the only thing I knew was that the Predators talked. I didn't know that there's comic relief characters and they have human problems.
And there's cutesy animal characters in the movie too.
Okay. Well, in that regard, then
it sounds everything that, hey, Disney owns the rights. Well, look what Disney does with the Predator character.
So that's, when I get around to finally watching it, it'll probably turn to be one of those things. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but Emily with Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth hitting streaming on Peacock. It's like, all right, let's go ahead and put this on. I think we got about 20, 25 minutes into it. And we just look at each other and she's like, just put the first one on. So we put the original Jurassic Park on. It's like, oh, this is much better. So
20 minutes in, you guys are like, man, fuck this movie.
Yeah. But we watched Shin Godzilla last night because that movie had eluded me for a bit. I stupidly, when it was still available at the time on streaming platforms digitally, I bought the dubbed version. I'm like, I'm not watching the dub. Fuck this. So it just came out not too long ago on 4K and Blu-ray. So I went ahead and got that, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Godzilla it's nightmarish. Granted, the CG in it is a little iffy, but the budget for the thing was only like 8.5 million. So it's easy to forgive when I'm like, they're not spending that much money on these movies, and they're working great. I saw that the Godzilla -1 is getting that sequel. I think it's going to come out in 2027 or something. So looking forward to that. I watched John Woo movies at work this week. That was my theming. It put me on board. I'm like, I'm gonna buy the 4K at Hard Target, and because I haven't watched that in a long time. But I also too want to see how his films, because I pretty much just watched the Hong Kong movies to see how those transition to when he does do Hard Target. I'll probably watch Face Off, even though I'm not a big.
Didn't he do Broken Arrow too?
Yes, he did Broken Arrow. But I watched Hard Boiled, which I had watched like 20 years ago when the Dragon Dynasty DVD came out. And when I watched it back then, I was like, it was good, but it didn't really grab me in the way. But watching it now, I was like, yeah, this fucking rules. I watched The Killer, which I'm going to say Hard Boiled and The Killer were my favorites of the bunch. But I checked out Bullet in the Head, which was the direction that story went. I was not expecting it to go that way. And then I watched A Better Tomorrow and A Better Tomorrow 2. And one of the things I really enjoy about John Woo movies is Master of the Squibs. Like when those dudes are taking shots, like the way those squibs are popping off, I loved it. And of course there's an overuse of slow motion, but when you think about it, at the time, we're talking late 80s, early 90s, that was like one of those, oh man, this is really awesome. So I can give that a pass. And then also there's just the melodrama. More often than not, some of these, it feels like you're watching a soap opera. I don't mind that in particular, but I know that could kind of rub some people the wrong way. So with my revisit of Hard Target and when I watch Face Off and everything, I want to see how those elements kind of transitioned when he is that little stint where he's doing American films. But
which Hard Target kicked all kinds of ass.
Yeah, Hard Target rules, but I haven't seen it in a few years, and it's not streaming anywhere. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy the 4K because all I have is the DVD, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put the DVD in and watch it on like a 75-inch TV. It's gonna look like shit.
Yeah.
So that's what I watch. So I'm kind of getting in this thing now where I'm like, you know what? If I'm watching movies in like 20-minute increments at work when I have like the little brief down period, I'm going to just start doing themed weeks. So like last week's John Woo, what am I going to do this week? Because I kind of got in that mood of when I was watching all those horror films for October. I'm like, I want to keep this consistent. So I don't know what I'm going to do next week, but it'll come to me. I'll just start, I'll be on my phone going through the streaming apps. I'm like, all right, this is on here and this is on here. I'll go on a path. I'll figure something out. That's going to be my plan. Did you watch anything this weekend?
Not really.
No, you just been kind of like feeling dumpy with the cold.
not feeling too good. Well, we watched Top Gun last night, but that was really by the
like the original Top.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing outside of that. I haven't had time to do a whole lot of watching stuff, with work and everything. Not getting home till late.
Yeah, did that put you in the mood watching Top Gun? You're like, all right, I got to watch Top Gun Maverick again sometime soon.
No, it was just she picked it out and she asked me like, do you like this one or the second one? I said, actually, I like Top Gun Maverick better.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I said, I like Top Gun, but it didn't have the impact on me, And then Top Gun Maverick, when he came out, like, holy shit, like it just resonated with me more. Even though Top Gun is a wonderful one, it's a classic, it's a masterpiece, But Top Gun Maverick, it just hit me a lot more differently. Like, oh boy, this is maybe I wanted to watch multiple times, still get pumped up and everything. Which is a rarity because it's so hard to for anything modern anymore to like, okay, that was really damn good. That's probably the last movie I saw. I was like, okay, I was really impressed by that. I was like, without a doubt, and it lingered on to home video as well. When I got it in 4K, watched it. And yeah, this movie kicks all kinds of ass. This movie's still awesome. It's not like getting Spider-Man and Daredevil. Like, oh my god, what was I thinking?
Well, to kind of tie that back in, we're talking Tom Cruise and John Woo. You actually really like Mission Impossible.
I love it.
Don't you?
I've only seen 1, 2, and 3. I've never seen any of the others past that. And everyone shits on 2. I'm like, I don't get it. Why?
Yeah.
And
I haven't seen 2 in a long time, but I might put that on my list. But also, I kind of just want to watch all those Mission Impossible movies.
I tried to do that, and by starting at the beginning, I'm like, fuck, nothing has ever changed. I still don't understand. What the fuck are they talking about?
Oh, yeah, that first one's really confusing.
And I was so grateful that I remember Billy Crystal at the Oscars, that movie, that the year that it came out, he made fun of that. And like when his parody is like, give me the plot to Mission Impossible. It's just okay, so it ain't just me. I can't understand a fucking thing going on in this movie.
Yeah. I remember when we rented it, I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know. Yeah. It's confusing, but yeah, I'll definitely watch Mission Impossible 2 just because the John Woo kicked that on.
Oh, it's great. I love it. And Dougray Scott, knowing he was cast to play Wolverine, but had to bow out because there were reshoots, or the shoots, the shoot with Mission Impossible 2 delayed him from joining X-Men. I always think about that.
Yeah.
When I watched Mission Impossible 2. And I watched it about maybe 2 years ago. It still held up. I was like, this movie's great. Hans Zimmer's score is fantastic in it. A lot of great action sequences. And Dougray Scott was a great villain in it. I thought it was much enjoyed. Tandy Newton was hot as hell.
Yeah, we get that Metallica track on the soundtrack.
Yeah, that Limp Bizkit that kicked ass.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. There's one with Fred. There's vocals, but there's also an instrumental version.
I like the instrumental is the one I like.
Yeah,
and it's so hard to find just that version because it sounds so good in the movie.
Yeah,
and I was like, why can't I just? It wasn't as easily accessible to get the instrumental version.
Yeah, that was also back in the time too when Tyler would send me emails.
Because
like you had Messenger and everything, like AIM and Yahoo Messenger and MSN Messenger and everything. But he would send me emails. It's like, hey, bud, how you doing? Hope things are well. And then he'd send me like a fucking track list. Can you get these for me? I was like, yeah, all right, I guess.
And Nathan would come through every time.
And then some stuff would just be like oddly specific. He would be like, this musical bit right here in this episode of Batman Beyond. You think you can get that? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can. Oh, great. And I was like, so there'd be times I'd read that email and I'd be like,
fuck.
I can't believe I got to do this again.
And Nathan did it for free. I wasn't paying him. He was just being a good friend,
Yeah, that would be.
It wasn't pulling a rope on me, and you're like, I'll get around to it.
No, yeah, I wasn't gonna take any money from you because
he may give me shit for some of the stuff I'm asking for or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, you want me to burn this on a CD for you? You really want this on here? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I have to like take the shit from him, And I remember specifically when he was like, when Miami Vice was really getting back into my things I was really into. So I was getting like music from the show, and I asked him if he would burn or download a lot of these songs, and he would have to listen to them to make sure they played right. So "You Belong to the City" by Glenn Frey, I'll never forget. He's gonna eat a bowl of Cheerios. Like, great, I can listen to 2 minutes and 36 seconds of this shit. And I was just like, he doesn't get how awesome this music is. He has since come around a lot.
Oh, yeah. I think
but back then it was like I'm only into the old stuff. Like I had no desire for a lot of modern stuff, especially music.
Yeah, fucking Simply Red.
Hey, that song kicks ass. Great song. I don't listen to everything, but it's just that one song, and it was on Miami Vice.
What was that one? It was at the
holding back the years. Yeah.
Holding back beers. Yeah. Yeah. So even if I liked it, I think I would still give you shit because I had to.
Oh, you have to, because that's just who you are.
That was kind of the payment, right?
The payment was Nathan has to give me shit. I guess sit there and just take it. Like, all right, okay, yeah. I'm this, I'm that. Give him the fucking CD.
Motherfucker likes Prince.
Yeah. I had to take that too. Nathan come around. He's a big Prince fan. Years later, But back in high school, like to come out and say you like Prince, like what the fuck's wrong with you?
I mean, honestly, I still say because people obviously Prince one of the best of all time. And
Oh,
people
yeah.
it's like Purple Rain and everything they hold in the. It's like this is his best work. But for me, I'm like, yeah, Batman '89 soundtrack, man, like that.
And people shit on that soundtrack as if like it's
I don't understand that. I mean, I don't know. I guess we have
get
to.
it.
You have to. It would be of two minds, right? So back then, it's the hardcore comic book readers, super into Batman. They're looking at the changes and probably hating that. But then also maybe you have the ones that really like the Adam West show and are seeing this like it's too dark. So I don't. But everyone was talking about it, and in Batmania, you couldn't get away from Batman.
Oh, what a great time to be alive during that summer, dude.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I had the Batman logo shirt, had the Converse shoes. Probably had some shorts along the way. I'm getting the Toy Biz toys for Christmas
those
and birthdays.
3 figures from the Toy Biz line, along with the Batcave, the Batmobile, the Batwing. Yeah, it was a great time to be a Batman fan. And then trading cards. They had the Batman trading cards.
Trading cards, and then like the miniature die-cast versions of the Batmobile, Batwing, like Joker's van.
Yeah, they're like almost like Micro Machine versions.
Yeah.
I had a set of like the Joker van, the Batmobile, and the Batwing, like Micro Machine size.
Yeah, and it would have like Batman like actually in the.
There was a die-cast one that my brother had. It was larger, but Batman was actually sitting inside.
Yeah,
the Batmobile.
Yeah, I had that too.
I was so jealous of my brother when he had that.
The Batmobile model kit that we put together. I still have that. So
we got the one from Batman Returns. We put that together.
Yeah. Oh man, just
it was all over the place. I'll never forget too. I think it was the following summer, which Batman came out in '89. This was 1990. That Myrtle Beach was selling decals of the Batman symbol, but neon yellow, not like sun yellow, but neon yellow. Me and my brother each got one. I wore that shirt like I was the proudest man on the planet. It was just on a white T-shirt, but I was so proud of having that logo on a white T-shirt, dude.
Did you? Because more often, especially in middle school, I would reach that period where I had shirts that I absolutely loved. That if I could have wore them every day, I would have done it. But I would get excited. I'm like, all right, the shirt's clean. It's a new week. And then you're planning out what day you're going to wear the shirt. I'm like, I'm going to wear that on Friday.
Yeah, Friday's the day you really want to amp up, like the proud shit. Like,
I'm gonna put the proud shit on.
It's Friday. It's weekend. Look what I'm wearing here. I'm a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Andrea Miller? You think I'm looking really hot in this shirt? Yeah. You want to go to you want to go to the sock hop next month?
That's right. Fuck right you do.
JSP, not John Woo, but have you guys revisited any old Jet Li movies? I still have a soft spot for Black Mask and Hitman. I've never really watched much Jet Li stuff.
Very, very little. I saw Fearless many years ago. I enjoyed the fight sequences in it, but that's all I can remember about it.
Do you remember when they were hyping up what is it called? The One?
Oh yeah.
Didn't it have at the end credits on like fucking Papa Roach song or something?
Probably. I remember that Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, Romeo Must Die. Yeah,
because there was a lot of like rap related stuff. Like I think with some of those movies that he had done, and that
was kind of
some of that
at the time. And Tyler, that was kind of a turnoff for me when it's just like because I like rap. Don't get me wrong, but my love for rap is more of like the mid '90s. Gangster rap, and then like prior to that, where you get like the '80s rap that
like LL Cool J and
it wasn't so much about violence and bitches and so like
I'm a gangster with a crew knee deep in bitches. And,
well the thing is that era where it's like the Romeo Must Die and like MTV Cribs, they all have a copy of Scarface. It was all about like bitches and hoes rap. I'm not.
I was not either. I thought it was fucking dumb. It was lame. Yeah. Like there's nothing that makes you cool. And then you see some jerk off, driving down the road, with his windows down like this, listen to gangster rap like he's a bad motherfucker. Like he's softer than the lamb's orgasm listening to that shit.
But that was so it turned me off on some of those movies.
Me too.
Like Cradle to the Grave. It's like, no, I'm not gonna watch that.
It's the stuff my brother was watching.
Yeah, your brother and my cousin John. They're like, yeah, man, I gotta buy Belly when it comes out on DVD. I'm like, no, thanks.
No.
But it's just like all that shit, all the rapper
DMX
led
played
movies.
movies, Snoop Dogg's in movies. Like, oh.
Yeah, and your brother and my cousin just ate that shit up.
Yep.
But also too, my cousin had like the fucking first live action Scooby Doo movie on full screen because he was buying full screen DVDs.
Right next to All About the Benjamins.
I forgot about that. You remember when I took my digital camera and we went into Walmart and I need to see if I can find that photo where it's just me. I got like a beanie on, I got like shorter hair, and I'm holding like 5 or 6 DVDs. It's just like the best of your brother's collection. So it's like
that was at our house in Fairlawn. You were downstairs.
No, there's that, but we also took pictures in Walmart where I'm holding
I guess you're picking up movies that you think this is my brother would be into, and it was like all these rap movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. He was big about Belly. I remember that.
He was big on Belly. He's big on Scarface. You know, after I watched it, like, that's it.
Can we all just, JSP, can we all just admit that Scarface is one of the most overrated movies of all time? Absolutely.
I've been saying it for years. I've seen it one time. I'm like, you people, the society has hyped the fuck out of this movie.
Well, like, you got to think MTV Cribs, and then like Grand Theft Auto Vice City comes out.
Yeah.
Around that time, correlating with, you got to have Scarface in the collection. And I like the movie.
It wasn't a bad movie by any means, but I'm like, it ain't worth all the hype. People were they were just sucking the dick. I mean, just Scarface's balls were bone dry, like the way people are going on about this movie. And P. Diddy and every rapper on the planet, they got to have a big homage to that. And you go to the mall and they're selling like these bullshit fake chalk paintings of Scarface and all this other bullshit. And, oh my god!
But it is highly overrated. You dare say most of all time. I think going back to my friend Josh, he actually has a Tony Montana tattoo.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's like
I forgot Josh was a big diehard for the gangster stuff like that too.
Yeah. I think it's like on his arm. It's like the T. His wife fucking hates it, and I love that. And I pointed out to him all the time when I'll see him. I was like, hey, you got like a shitty Tony Montana tattoo, right? And Josh, he's like, yeah.
let me use the restroom real quick before we wrap, do questions stuff like that.
Absolutely. So I hope everyone's enjoyed this episode. Of course, we get the Monstroid discussion done rather quickly, I would say, but I hope everyone's just enjoying our movie talk and our bullshitting around here at the end. I don't know how Tyler's going to feel about this comment when he comes back, because I don't agree with this. I don't think Breakfast Club is overrated. I could see that viewpoint, but I love Breakfast Club for what it is. I was actually thinking about probably picking that up if I don't already own it. So I should probably go and check my collection first. But any of you that collect Criterion brand, the 50% off sale is going on now at Barnes & Noble for the month that they do. Usually seems a little bit earlier that they're doing it this year. I seem to recall it was more about end of November time going through December, but it started on Friday. So there's a couple of things I want to pick up. Unfortunately, I think when the sale ends, not too long after that, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is going to get released on 4K from Criterion. So I'll just have to bite the bullet and pay full price for that. But Tyler, now that you're back, JSP's saying Breakfast Club's way overrated.
No, I do not agree with that. I love Breakfast Club. I will say it probably gets mentioned probably too much. Like when they think 80s classic movies, like it is the best teen. But some might say 16 Candles, some might say Weird Science, some might say Some Kind of Wonderful. But it does get used. It's almost like that's the constant go-to. So in that regard, but no, it is not an overrated movie because I think it's one of the best 80s movies, period. And definitely something that, will never get duplicated again with teen dramas because they don't know how to write teenagers as nothing more than like shitty caricatures.
Comments that we got on last week's episode that I wanted to touch on. And also, I want to point this out to anyone that may be checking this episode out and hasn't watched the cardback tier list that we did last week. There's a period of time for about 4 minutes, about 52 minutes into that episode where I was using OBS for the cardbacks. There's like a big audio glitch with both of us when we're talking. So that lasts for a few minutes. So you might just want to fast forward a little bit, but yeah, it happens sometimes. We're live, pal. So not much that I could have done in that scenario. Grayskull Cannon. And a point about the card backs, that was packaging that had to be thrown away, but the mini comics are what I kept and relied on as a source for inspiration and imagination springboards. So yeah, I could see the mini comics, much like you. It really works with the imagination.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah. Brian Clifton, I got most of Wave 1 for Christmas the year they came out, even got Castle Grayskull. I kept the mini comics since I was always a comic guy, but usually didn't keep the card backs. I kept a few, but not many. So there was a couple people that were saying, yeah, I didn't keep any of the packaging at all, which that's a shame. I need to have more.
It just wasn't a common thing. People just had never thought about keeping. You know, and I guess who could have predicted that He-Man would be still celebrated and remembered? You know, after the line was dead. You know, people just like, oh, that's an old toy line. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I don't play with toys anymore. I'm a man. I beat off.
Johnny. So this is going to be long. But played the rent game. So jet sled stinks. It kind of looks like a jet ski pulling up on a wave in Cyclone, and the villains could be playing beach ball. Multibot is great. It demonstrates different configurations that you can do with the figure, and it's dominating the page while the baddies are shown to be inferior. Ratlore stinks, just looks goofy overall. Ratlore needs to look better than He-Man when it's his box. Horde Trooper, meh. I know they're putting army builders to be beat up, but it's their toy. Please make them look threatening. If it didn't demonstrate the toy opening up to show the battle damage, it seems more like art to feature and sell He-Man again. Dragstore, meh. The layout is actually well done, and the opponents being run over is great. Dragstore himself looks okay-ish, and I wish that the multiple images of him in the back were not colored in full detail just to give him that shadow trail effect. Flying Fist, meh. This is a tough one for me because the coloring is so good for this piece. The chrome armor and Too Bad's washed out highlights are so well done. It just lacks any realistic kinetic energy, which is a shame when there are so many blatant speed line effects. Mega Laser, decent. It showcases the toys. The baddies look more dumbfounded than terrified of the weapon, and I dislike that Stinkor and Beastman look more like they're cut off where they're trying to save on time and work before it says horizontal liner implications of a trench. Hurricane Hordak stinks. Bad gimmick demonstration. Weird doughy pose. Scared Skeletor is the best part of this card art. Stone Door, decent. It shows that this guy can do and what he's all about. Tongue Lasher, great. The way that the characters are drawn are just okay, but it's atmospheric and tells a story. Tongue Lasher is a threat. King Hiss, great. It sells the figure and makes the Snake Men look cool and badass. The disguise would literally only work once, though. Snout Spout, meh, it's really awkward. I wish Snout Spout or the baddies would have their backs facing us, which I think we had mentioned that.
Yeah.
When we were talking about Snout Spout. Extendar, great. I do not like Extendar's design by default at all, but it showcases the play gimmick, and every character is drawn well. Stilt Stalkers stinks. Nothing about this art shows why this accessory might be cool. It literally just looks like He-Man is on this thing to cause a distraction, while Tila is off camera sneaking around. The Evil Warriors look like an audience waiting for He-Man to do a kickflip or something. Terraclaw Skeletor, great. Skeletor just looks whatever, but everyone around him looks good. Rock On, meh. It's a very literal representation of his power, and that's that. And the baddies look goofy. Rio Blast, decent. Overall composition is great, and the Snake Men throwing up their hands is a nice touch. Again, a piece where everyone but the toy being featured is selling. Goes on to say that this is the crossover stuff. So you and I were talking about why are they doing this shit. I disagree about crossovers and mashups sucking by default. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of goofy stuff out there that makes me scratch my head, but I do enjoy seeing people having fun and letting their imaginations run wild with the potential and direction these characters can go. I remember Tyler only liking the idea of mashups if it made a toy line join another toy line scale and aesthetic. The Thundercats crossover with Master Universe can have all their Master Universe pieces removed and included heads swapped out, and they would look like standard Thundercat and Master Universe Origins proportions. The way I would have preferred the crossover with Origins would be if they made the Ninja Turtles and Thundercats characters take on the garb and equipment of Eternia and its inspired design language. I'm all for Leonardo looking like an Eternian master versus a Ninja Turtle that's trying to be half He-Man, as I recall seeing a turtle with blonde hair. I think that was the Michelangelo that they did with that. There's a Ninja Turtle Godzilla toy line that's come out that I have no interest in, but I know enough Godzilla fans who are absolutely loving these toys because they're so fun, weird, and yes, even the word dumb has been thrown around by people I know who have bought them. I just can't deny the wow factor and fun that my friends are having. I've gone through my time on DeviantArt and Tumblr, so I really do believe mashups and fanfic have its place in fandoms. I don't understand most of it. There's a lot of cringe and absolute shit, but when you do find those gems, it's a beautiful moment, or you're just sitting there going, wow, and you have to catch your breath. Even the shit I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole often comes from a place of fun and love, and it takes these characters into a space that's often very precious, if only specifically for them. The problem we often face is, once again, our beloved IPs being filtered through a marketing department going, these 80s and 90s kids will buy it if we cross the streams. And more often than not, the crossovers are being presented when they're running out of ideas in the late game, and it shows, versus them seeing the potential in a cool collaboration with another license in the middle of their upward climb. So, Johnny, thank you for giving your rankings the well thought out response in terms of crossovers. And it's much like we've talked about. Yeah, most of the stuff is shit, and that's just our opinion of saying it's shit. And we've always said, if you like it and you're enjoying it, that's awesome. That we are happy for you. But like with the Godzilla Turtle crossovers, I saw those at Target, I think about a month or so ago, and I looked at them. I was like, they kind of look all right. Like, it's dumb, goofy fun. Like, if I were to get something, it would be more along the lines of that as opposed to any of the Origin crossover stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to waste my money on this. But for the people that see it and like it, and they're like, I like this, then that is perfectly fine. But we just have to say that we think that it's shit. That's
yeah. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but there has to be some logic. Because I look at more from a storytelling standpoint, not just a toy standpoint. Because I when I say the same scale, I'm thinking like the LGN figures next to the Mattel He-Man line. You know, the Thundercat figures are a lot bigger than the He-Man figures. So I'm talking about they need to be in the same scale. But in terms, it has to make sense in a story. Like, you just can't slap He-Man and Turtles together because, well, I like them and people are dumb enough to buy it. And I wrote a shitty comic book that illustrates. So like, no, fuck you. You know, there's no logic to this story. This is just bad fan fiction. You have the keys to the kingdom to just write this shit, and no one tells you no.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, He-Man could work with Brave Star. He-Man could work with Thundercats. He-Man could work with Black Star. You know, but and not just fantasy. But I'm like, I don't need to see He-Man team up with Transformers. Don't need to see it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of logic to that. Transformers can team up with a lot of stuff, but He-Man's not one of them at all. Turtles can do team ups, but that He-Man's not one of them. You know?
Yeah, I think I see more Ninja Turtles crossing over with Batman, Daredevil.
Oh yeah, I see the crossover with I mean, within their world. They live in New York City.
I think
the Marvel universe takes place in New York City, for God's sake. Like,
I think a Spider-Man crossover with Ninja Turtles would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Spider-Man and Turtles, Daredevil and Turtles, X-Men and the Turtles. You know, I think you could do a lot of stuff like that.
Because there's so much, like, you could picture Michelangelo having the dialogue with someone in X-Men and talking about how they're mutants, but in different ways. And yeah,
I guess, you know, see Wolverine and Raph.
Oh, that would be
meeting up, you know, in the sewer, he's pursuing Sabretooth, and Raph comes across him, and you know, Sabretooth and Raph start fighting. Then Wolverine shows up because he's been looking for Sabretooth, and they just beat the fuck out of Sabretooth, and then they get in each other's way, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, you could also you could also see like Wolverine's animanium claws like slicing
like
one of Raph's
holding on to his sides like this, and like they're just.
But if Wolverine and Raph were to get into it, and you just see like the animanium being so strong that it just like cuts Raph's size in half, and you're like, oh. And Raph's taking,
and then Raph's like, sounds like, if you have those damn claws, I could kick your ass. And like, all right. And then Wolverine retracts. All right, little man, let's see what you can do. And Raph's like, you're not, you know, look who's talking.
Yeah, Raph being like, that's rich. Calling me little man. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. That the logic behind the crossovers has to make sense. That's why I really wish I could just kick open the door at Mattel and say, "What are you people doing with this shit?" If you guys want to do crossovers, do it right, and it can be done right.
I kind of wonder if going back to Monstroid, and since they're doing with what they put out in the Origins line, I kind of wonder if Monstroid at some point is going to get put out there, because they've done a lot with vehicles and play sets.
You'll probably have to pay like $500 in advance, and you get like some shitty box art, and you find his real name is Gary.
Gary from the Sea.
Yeah, Gary from the Sea of Rakash.
And
Scott Nolly came in and sat on the board meeting, having Rob David got their heads together. And...
yeah, it cuts to like fucking Little Mermaid. It's like, under the sea.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Dude, I saw Little Mermaid in theaters as a kid.
I did too. And Ursula scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
I think we had to look under the bed. Is she underneath there?
I think we only went because my cousin Michelle really wanted to see it. So it's like me and my cousin John got, I don't want to say drug along to it, but I always saw it as like, that's a movie for girls.
Well, I thought that, but the visuals of the thing is what pulled me into it. Like I even though I'm like, this is a girls movie and all the stuff they made for us clearly for girls.
Yeah. But they're singing again. Why are they singing again?
Like, fuck. And my dad took me to go see it. So he, it makes you wonder what he thought, but he enjoyed a lot of, like Robin Hood and Sword in the Stone. Like he enjoyed a lot of the older Disney movies that kicked all kinds of ass. And I think just because it was a new cartoon, like I want to see Oliver and Company, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Land Before Time. If it was an animated movie with animals in it, I was wanting to see it. So that's just how I looked at Little Mermaid.
Don't watch All Dogs Go to Heaven again.
I have no desire to see that again. I haven't seen it since I was a child, and I didn't even go back.
Yeah, that's a gut punch.
Well, so is Land Before Time. Movie's less than an hour long. Dude, and I'm bawling my eyes out.
They made all that shit so sad back then.
But it was damn good because they weren't afraid to throw any punches.
It's great.
I didn't cry as a kid watching it. I cry as an adult watching it, which is why I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't cry as a kid either. Like I was like, oh, that's sad.
It's sad. But I'm like,
and then watching it now, I'm like, blubber and mess.
Yeah, I got to go to therapy. Well, what happened? I watched Littlefoot's mom die. Did you see what happened to him too? Like he's wandering around aimlessly, no family. His Sarah's being a little bitch.
Yeah. Speaking of Sarah and bitches, I think about her dad talking about using that Land Before Time quote, or saying like you don't belong, like you. Something about the long necks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you don't belong with that. And he would always use that in reference to me. I was like, you fucking piece of shit.
Who would do that?
Fred, her dad.
Oh.
Would you say, yeah, because he never liked me. I was like, because I wasn't going to college. I'm like,
oh, I never knew that was his name. What a dick.
Yeah. And I'm like, how'd that work out for all your kids? Like going to college for stupid reasons, and then some of them becoming teachers, not making any money. Like, I on one hand, it's great putting that out in the world, teaching kids. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't pay well. I'm one of those people. I'm like, teachers need to be paid more. Like, I'm in that whole aspect.
I think people in janitorial service need to be paid more. People who take care of garbage need to be paid more. Doing jobs that are a lot more difficult than you think should be well paid and well taken care of. I think all jobs, like I don't think any there should be no shit jobs. Yeah. All jobs should be paying good across the board.
Oh, absolutely. Like people need a living wage. We won't like
sidetrack.
We won't sidetrack into that whole thing. But I guess we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this one up unless there's anything else you wanted to toss out there.
I got to get ready to bounce here in a moment anyway. So I don't have anything else in terms of randomness to throw out there. But our random rants were quite good today.
Yeah, but also that's kind of getting the gears turning of like, now I want to see Raphael and Wolverine team up and some sort of story. Yeah, maybe you can even throw Casey Jones in there too.
Oh fuck! You'd have to put Casey Jones in there and have Nightcrawler, hanging out with probably I can see Nightcrawler interacting with the Turtles, and trying to think who else. I could definitely see like Michelangelo having like a thing for like Kitty Pryde or something like that.
Yep.
Like or even like Storm or something like that. I just feel like there's a lot of fun to be had because Wolverine has fought ninjas. Wolverine comes across the Foot Clan ninjas. thinking it's the Hands back in town again. It's like, and then he sees the Turtles. It's just, and it wouldn't be a full on like the entire X-Men Academy teams up with the Turtles. It'd be a finite group of X-Men, like Colossus, Nightcrawler, Wolverine,
and Storm or
and
Kitty
Storm,
Pryde.
4 and 4. You know,
let's do Kitty Pryde instead of Storm. I think that would be because you got the
Kitty because Storm is like her powers are like, I mean, she controls the fucking weather. I mean, she's like almost like a god. Kitty Pryde faces this, like it brings her more to ground level. So to have her, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Nightcrawler and Wolverine, the 4 of them crossing paths with the Turtles, you know, getting involved with like Foot Clan, you know, battles and stuff like that too. Seeing Wolverine take on the Shredder,
that would be good.
Like that'd be badass, you know, because Wolverine's fought ninjas a lot, man. To fight, you know, the Shredder, like, that would kick all kinds of ass. But unfortunately, we have no access and we have no means, so we just have to sit and talk about it, you know, because idiots who have all the keys, the can't do a fucking thing with what they got. They just run headfirst into the first tree they see.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed our discussion on Monstroid. I hope they enjoyed all the random talk that we did here. Leave a comment down below. As we said multiple times, we start to read those on the following week's episode. So show us some love there. It can be about anything. Well, I'll read it off. But yeah, give us your thoughts on Monstroid, the story ideas with Turtles crossing over with X-Men. And like this episode if you haven't done so already, subscribe. That'll help us out a lot too. And until later, let the power return.
Okay, pussy face. It's your move.
That's not ringing any bells for me at all.
I tell you what I believe. Shit happens. That's another quote from the movie. Predator 2.
Predator 2.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that first one checks out now.
Yeah.
I mean, I love. We can go on a tangent on that forever. Predator 2 deserves more love. Go watch Predator 2.
Yeah.
Revisit that again.
And I think the more and more shitty Predator movies they keep churning out, Predator 2's value in stock just continues to rise.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a masterpiece when I was a kid, and I just look around. You people are enjoying this shit. Like, I think you all need to be, you know, put in a padded room.
Well, once again, Tyler has bested me with his movie quote, but can you guess what movie this scene is from? Tyler, you're supposed to say thank you for your time. Thanks for your time. Come on, man.
Thank you for your time, people. I appreciate your giving us your ears and your eyes.
The law's on my side. I play cards with J.D. Shellnut, chief of police, so kiss my ass, you little bastard.